Welcome everyone to Weekly News and a DW Main Major tidbit, and the topic for this video is
Vico Sotto, Leandro Leviste, poster boy laban sa palyadong flood control project.
Kailangan maging nakakadiri yung korupsyon. Kailangan hindi siya maging katanggap-tanggap. I think unfortunately through the years, that's really what's happened. It's become accepted.
Publicly been questioning these DPWH projects, and in this district alone there's over 1.5 billion of DPWH projects on the Sumbong sa Pangulo website.
Ayan na nga ang mga poster boy ng anti-corruption. Hindi natin alam kung nagpapalakas o genuine, pero iisa lang ang sigurado tayo. It's a nice thing, and they should be emulated. Sure, magpasikat sila, pero one thing is for sure, it has never been popular to be overtly corrupt, lalo na sa mga kabataan ngayon. Hinaharas na nga natin yung mga anak ng mga flood control project contractors at even congressmen that lives lavish lifestyles and flaunts it on social media, thinking that we do not have the capacity to see the cause and effect of their corruption and their lavish lifestyles. Pero let's start first with the allegations na sinabi ni Vico Sotto tungkol sa mga YouTube lifestyle videos ng mga Diskaya with Julius Babaw and Corina Sanchez featuring the two bago ang eleksyon. They are titans of industry sa journalism, esteemed in everything imaginable. So what happened? Ang sabi ni Vico, these journalists are lending their credibility at history of honest-to-God journalism sa kanilang ini-interview. Kaya ang sabi niya, hindi ba nila naiisip na, uy, teka, ba't kaya handa to magbigay ng 10 million asterisk para lang magpa-interview sa akin? With him saying na, hindi naman exact figure yung 10 million, but you get the point, you get the gist.
Pero siguro yung mga nakita talaga natin na connected sa contractor, sila naman nag-post nun online, di ba? So, bigyan natin sila ng atensyon kung gusto nila.
Bakit niya ako bibigyan ng 10 million para lang ma-feature ko siya? Para lang ma-interview ko siya? Maybe the, again, credibility that I have is important for them to be legitimized. Pero, who knows anymore? Naalala ko tuloy yung sinabi ni Alan Peter Cayetano kay Mocha Uson sa pagbili ng mga vlogs at PR features through traditional media giants and even papers. Kasi ako, even the people that I actually support.
What areas around the Pansika, mas may laki chance to get votes. Diba? Tapos, syempre, how much will you spend for social media versus traditional media? Pwede ko naman kayong tulungan at saka yung tao na doon kasi like sa traditional media. You can buy it. Sa ngayon, pag yung interviews binibenta mo. At pag ginenta nila yung interview, you can give your own questions. So, hindi ka matatakot. I'm talking about in mga politics.
So, it is not really that weird for them to accept sponsors. Now, I'm not saying that they accepted the Diskaya sponsor, but it's not really surprising na naghahanap ang mga journalists natin ng sponsors. And of course,
so dyan na kayo umasenso sa government contracts?
Yes, nag-start na.
Nagbabayad naman ng gobyerno?
Nagbabayad. Doon namin naramdaman na nag-iba yung buhay namin kasi hindi na ako kailangan kumatok sa pinto ng nanay ko, daddy ko na baka pwedeng makahingi ng konti para sa pang-diaper at gatas. Papasyal na namin yung mga anak namin sa labas. Nakakapag-out of town kami. Doon namin naramdaman na maganda pala nagiging takbo ng buhay namin.
Nag-respond si Corina sa mga sinasabi o sa mga patutsada ni Vico Sotto saying na there's no such thing as 10 million pesos being paid. Maybe that's a slimy tactic. Maybe hindi 10 million kundi 9.999 million o kaya naman 10.001 million ang halaga na binigay sa kanya. But, I'm just speculating at this point. Sinabi ni Corina na kaya nila ginagawa ang isang feature or topics sa kanya ay dahil may interest na ang publiko sa ganung personalidad and that Vico was also offered a feature pero he declined. Kumaga, sinasabi ni Corina, interesado na ang tao sa mga Diskaya. Kaya niya finisher, kaya niya nilagyan ng video. Pero, I don't know if that's true, but I guess let's just take her for what she said.
Ano yung naging parang gateway para gumanda ang buhay ninyo?
Nag-DPWH kami.
Gaano karaming kotse meron kayo?
Parang personal use lang namin, nasa 30 plus na yata siya. 40.
Ano, gamit niyo ba lahat yan?
Hindi na. Yung Cadillac, ito yung sports niya. Yung Lincoln Navigator, GMC Denali, Grand Wagoneer, pinaship ko from the US. Suburban, Alphard, Dodge Ram, the Tundra, Toyota Sequoia, the TRD Pro, Capstone yung high-end niya, yung X5, F-Pace, Altera, GLS, Volvo XC90. And this is the autobiography Range Rover. The Evoque, Defender, not yung LM, yung Lexus, yung LC2, Savannah, the Ford Bronco, Benz GLE, X7, yung Sprinter, Gladiator, this is the Porsche, yes, Cayenne, Maserati, G63, Benz na Avantgarde, yung Bentley. Kaya nagustuhan ko to. May wine glass rin sa loob. Mercedes-Benz Maybach.
Rolls-Royce.
Kulinan. Naka-interior siya ng Hermes Orange.
Sa kaso naman ni Julius Babaw, he also denied any 10 million pesos being used for a feature. They really flaunted the wealth that they had accumulated sa DPWH. Sinabi nga nila, di ba? Being in a DPWH is what was the key to being rich. The rags to riches story. Now, daan or dose-dosena ang kanilang mga luxury brand cars at models. So, you might think, you can catch a fish by its mouth. And ang sinabi ng mga Diskaya is a pretty suspect admission of their lavish lifestyle brought forward by the DPWH contracting mechanism that they had been using and that they had been benefiting from. Kasi nga, again, top 1, top 3, alam ko nasa around 100 million or even billions ang mga kontrata nila sa DPWH. You can watch my previous NIDW recap for that. Now let's look at Leandro Levis na naman, anak ni Senadora Lorna Legarda and 1st District Congressman from Batangas, the richest politician in the Philippines with an estimated net worth of 55 billion pesos. Mainly because of his revolutionary or renewable energy startup turned business and many controlling shares sa iba pang malalaking business, which is honestly admirable to the point na I'm suspicious kasi billionaires generally are not to be trusted. Even Ramon Ang, even the C's, even everyone. Basta billionaire ka, there's something wrong that you could have done. But again, renewable energy to, so I'm not really sure what to make of it. Kasi again, this is a great cause and that I don't think meron siyang natapakan sa ganitong line of work. But still, he's still a billionaire. There's always something that will be off from him. Now, ayon sa mga report, he was allegedly attempted to be bribed by a DPWH engineer on behalf of a construction company contractor para i-block ang mga probes sa flood control projects sa kanyang distrito. Sa tumataginting na 3.1 million pesos lang na alleged suhol, which is laughable kasi bilyonaryo yung sinusuhulan mo tapos susuhulan mo 3 million pesos. Na-arrest ako tuloy ng police for this alleged bribery.
Ito po ay inabot ni DE at nakita po ng PNP sa isang supot na may kasamang resibo ng 3 mga proyekto na nakakahalaga ng 104 million pesos, 3% of which is 3.1M. Kinompute talaga bilang initial na SOP para sa 3 proyekto at meron pang isang contractor na sinabi sa akin ni DE ready na mag-withdraw ng 15 million pesos cash. Kung nag-okay po ako, baka kinabukasan pwede niyang ipadala na sana. Kaya daw nila akong bigyan ng 5% hanggang 10% mula sa 3.6 billion ng mga proyekto ng unang distrito ng Batangas.
Levis na alleged na sinabi ng DPWH engineer sa kanya na walang bidding na nagaganap para sa mga flood control projects sa kanyang distrito. And yung dating congressman ang namili ng mga mananalo sa bidding clear emolument or preferential treatment if true.
Pinipili lang daw ng congressman ang contractor na nagbibigay ng SOP. Pinangalanan din ni DE sa akin ang mga pinakamalalaking mga contractor sa unang distrito ng Batangas, kung sino ang mga taong nagpasok at pumipili sa kanila para manalo sa bidding noong panahon ng dating congressman.
All things considered, itong ginawa niyang pagtanggi sa sukol o lagay na ibinibigay sa kanya is such a low bar. Maybe even staged if you think about it. But at least, the bar was low enough to be cleared and the perpetrators dumb enough to think masisilaw siya sa ganoon kalaking pera. Pero again, as I said earlier, malay mo nagpapalakas lang sila ng pangalan, lalo na sa mga kabataan. Hindi natin alam yon. As I said, maybe even staged ito kasi again, who the frick would be dumb enough to bribe piso to a millionaire, to a thousandaire? Kung meron kang 10,000 piso or ibebend mo yung morals mo para sa nagsusuhol sa'yo na bigyan ka ng 300 pesos or 30 pesos lang. Diba? Ang tanga. So, I don't know if they're just evil or dumb or both or that it is staged. Pero, one thing is clear. One thing is for sure. Mulat na ang mga kabataan sa mga ganitong kabulastugan. And we cannot wait until we hold the largest majority. We can actually proceed with the progressive stuff that we want to implement. Or at the very least, the stuff that is literally bare minimum but cannot be done under this particular sets of leaders.
Ang video clip na ito ay galing sa aking series ng News Reverdy Recap. Check the entire videos for the complete weekly news recap and subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date sa mga local at global news na I'll make sure will be interesting to you. Particularly you, whatever your name is. Hindi ko alam, sorry. Salamat sa panonood mga ka-farmy. Like, subscribe, follow me like sa socials and avoid Joseph that will be linked down below. So, susunod of course. Paalam.